Ahoy and welcome back once again to the channel. For those of you new here, my name's Gary. I like watches. If you're here watching this, you probably like watches too, and you probably enjoy discovering new watch releases. And if you do, that's a good thing because I've got a brand new watch release to show you in today's video. Jason from a new Indonesian micro brand called Santura reached out to me inviting me to review their first watch release, which is going on Kickstarter on the 6th of March. It's currently on pre-launch, and in fact, if you want to pick this watch up at its cheapest price, you best reserve it on pre-launch. But if you want to wait for the Kickstarter, it's going to cost you an extra $10, $399 US dollars on the Kickstarter, $389 on pre-launch. The everyday price is going to be $500. And this new Novus is going to be available in 3 different colors. As you can see, I've been sent the sort of grey, dark grey, black sunburst dial variation. There's a blue and a silver one. I think the blue is my favorite, but there wasn't a blue prototype available for me to review. This is a prototype, but I have been assured by Jason many times that this is the same quality as the full production watches. So what you see in this video is what you're going to get if you want one of these watches. Powered by the Miyota 9039. I'm sure you're familiar with that movement, a Miyota movement, a no date movement, no ghost position on the crown, 28,800 beats per hour, hacks, hand winds, and on the back of the watch there is a sort of display case back, partially covered by a sort of design. I don't think I've ever seen that before. An exhibition case back with a sort of partially obscured window, but you can see, I guess, the best bits of the movement, the most interesting bits, the bits that we like to look at every now and then. Sapphire crystal front and back, despite that exhibition case back being partially obscured. You've got an AR coating on the crystal covering the dial. The rest of the specifications are, I think, what you would expect for a watch in this price bracket. So 316L stainless steel, very nice leather strap, excellent build quality actually. The finishing on this case does look to be pretty premium, and I suspect that's where a lot of the production costs or where a lot of the production costs have come from, having this watch made in a factory that produces watches and cases to a very high standard. The brushing looks nice, the polishing looks nice, and the transitions between the two super clean and crisp. I like the case shape. It's fairly traditional, modern, but also classic, fairly bold, polished bezel, which I like. I do tend to like sort of bold steel bezels like this. The polishing on that bezel again looks very, very nice. The crown is nicely finished, the buckle is nicely finished, as is the case back. Dual facet, partially skeletonized, polished hands. They look super reflective when I play with the light. I've had a bit of feedback recently saying that I move the watches around too aggressively and I show the watches reflecting in the light too much. Apologies, I just like to use the light to highlight sort of polished and brushed surfaces, and I think it does a really good job of showing sort of highlights and lowlights and different types of finishing. So I will try and slow it down for this particular video, and yeah, for future videos. Of course, I welcome feedback like that. It's useful for me to know what I'm doing right and what I'm doing wrong. 100 meters of water resistance. The case back is screwed down with screws. The crown is a screw down crown. Yeah, the leather strap is nice. Color matching stitch. I just fettled with it a little bit to get it to conform to my wrist, and it was, yeah, very comfortable almost immediately. The lume's okay on this watch. I've already filmed the lume degradation clip, which you'll see at the end of the video. Nice applied indices. The finishing on those applied indices, not super crisp under macro, but there are some fairly clear facets on those, well, baton style markers, aren't they? And you've got a triple marker at the 12 and a double marker at the 3, 6 and 9. And then tiny little squares at the other hour markers. A bit of detail on the dial, and the dial is a very nice, strong sunburst effect dial. We don't tend to see too many sunburst effect dials these days, do we? There was a time when I think most watches in this sort of price bracket came with sunburst effect dials. It was, I guess, the thing. But now dial technology and dial designs have become far more adventurous, and I think a lot cheaper as well, which is why we're seeing a lot more adventurous and interesting and complex dials in watches in this sort of price bracket. I do worry a little bit that the price of this watch is a touch strong, given that it's a fairly traditional sort of classic looking watch, and there's nothing jumping out at me on this watch that screams sort of a unique selling point. Well, apart from perhaps the partially obscured exhibition case back. So of course, I hope it does well on the Kickstarter. If you are interested in this watch, I'll put a link to the Kickstarter and the pre-launch page in my video description. There won't be affiliate links. They'll just take you over there. Of course, you will have seen the includes paid promotion icon at the start of the video. If you want to know what that means for this particular video, head down to the video description. But yeah, if you're interested in this watch, head over to either Kickstarter or pre-launch. And yeah, fingers crossed it does well, because it would be good to see what else Jason comes up with, right guys? Yeah, hope you enjoyed the video. Let me know what you think of the watch and the video in the comments section. And yeah, I always look forward to reading your comments. As always, guys, take care. Enjoy the rest of your week.